Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today our topic is cloud computing. In cloud computing, we will discuss the following topics. What is cloud? Cloud computing. What are the attributes of the cloud? Types of cloud. Cloud delivery models. Cloud computing architectures. Then as an example, we will discuss the CERN cloud. CERN means Center of European Nuclear Research Cloud. Then we will discuss worldwide cloud computing adoption, and we also will discuss what is the cloud computing adoption in the context of Pakistan. Let's discuss the term cloud. What is cloud? A cloud is a pool of abstracted, highly scalable and managed infrastructure which is capable of hosting and customer application and built by the consumptions. Cloud is basically providing a pool of the resources, and these resources are scalable in nature. They may increase or decrease as per their availabilities, and the infrastructure is manageable. And this managed infrastructure has the capability of hosting and customer application, and as per their usage they have to be paid. The definition of cloud in Wikipedia: a style of computing in which dynamically scalable and often virtualized resources are provided as services over the internet. It means cloud a style of the computing, एक ऐसा स्टाइल है कंप्यूटिंग का in which dynamic scalable means resources could be added or removed, and such type of computing environment are providing virtualized resources, and resources are virtualized and provided as a services over the internet. Second is user need not have knowledge of expertise in or control over the technology infrastructure in the cloud that supports them. Cloud computing definition: cloud computing is internet-based computing where shared resources, software and information are provided on demand like a public utility. Cloud computing has given the idea of internet-based computing. All type of resources, hardware resources and software resources, all type of information could be provided on demand like public utility. If we look at this diagram, we do have the infrastructure, we do have the platform, we have the application. All these three-tier architectures, infrastructure, platform and application, are provided as a services in cloud computing environment. We do have the different standards in Europe to define the cloud computing, and we do have the different standard as per the NIST. Cloud computing as per European standards, the European Network and Information Security Agency defines cloud computing as on-demand service model for IT provision, often based on virtualization and distributed computing technology. It means this is on-demand service model for IT provisions, and it is based on virtualization. It means whatever resources which are available in cloud computing environment are virtualized, and it is using the distributed computing technologies, and the resources which are contributing in development of cloud are distributed in nature, and this distribution could be in many locations over the different places, over the different organizations, over the different continents which are contributing in the development of the cloud. According to NIST standard, Hassan showed us standard in technology. Cloud computing is a model for enabling ubiquitous, convenient, on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources. Network servers, storage, application, and services that can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimal management effort or service provider interaction. Let's explain this definition. Next, discuss cloud computing as a model. And this model enable ubiquitous access. Ubiquitous access means any person could access these resources from anywhere. Convenient means easy to access. On-demand network access, it means whenever needed could be demanded. Shared pool of configurable computing resources. It means we do have number of the resources which are available from the different organizations, and these organizations may be contributing from the different continents, from the different countries, from the different location within the country. And resources could be network resources हो सकते हैं. We do have the servers, we do have the storage devices, we have the application, we do have the services, and these resources could be available to the end users. Next visual model for the cloud computing. 5 essential characteristics have been identified by NIST: broad network access, rapid elasticity, on-demand self-service access, mirrored services, and resource pooling. And 3 service models: software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and deployment model, public model, private, hybrid, and community model. We will discuss about the essential characteristics and also some other attributes of the cloud computing. We will discuss about the service model and deployment models in next slides. Cloud attributes. Cloud attributes. 10 core attributes of the cloud computing. We will discuss all these attributes one by one. Off-premise. The service is hosted and delivered from a location that belongs to a service provider. This usually has 2 implications. The service is delivered over the public internet and the processing occurs outside the company firewall. We do have the service provider, we do have the service consumer. In cloud computing environment, we do have a number of the providers which are contributing in provision of services to the cloud users. In cloud computing environment, the service is hosted and delivered from a location that belongs to a service provider. It means service provider ही सर्विस को होस्ट कर रहा है और सर्विस जो है उसी की लोकेशन से एंड यूजर्स को डिलीवर हो रही है. It means we do have some of the issues. The service is delivered of the public internet. It may have some security issues as the processing occurs outside the company firewall. It depends upon the trustability over the service provider. Okay, cloud consumer या service consumer ने trust करना है over the service provider. It means off-premise that must ensure a trust between the service provider and the service consumer. Elasticity. Elasticity is also one of the core attributes of the cloud computing. The inherent scalability of service provider is made available to the end users. The model goes much further in providing elastic provision mechanism so that resources could be scaled up and scaled down very rapidly as required. इनहेरेंट स्केलेबिलिटी सर्विस प्रोवाइडर की एग्जिस्ट करनी चाहिए, बिकॉज द डिमांड ऑफ द एंड यूजर कुड बी इंक्रीज। तो रिसोर्सेज की प्रोविजन, रिसोर्सेज की जो अवेलेबिलिटी है एंड यूजर्स को मस्ट बी वेल सेटिस्फाइड। और क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग में स्केलेबिलिटी एग्जिस्ट करती है, बिकॉज नंबर ऑफ रिसोर्सेज विच आर जॉइनिंग द क्लाउड could be increased or decreased, or even number of users which are joining the cloud could be increased or decreased. तो scalability एग्जिस्ट कर रही होती है क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग इन्वायरमेंट में। इसी तरह यूजर्स की जो डिमांड है विद टाइम मे बी इंक्रीज। तो क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग की इन्वायरमेंट को यूजर की रिक्वायरमेंट को मीट करने के लिए इलास्टिसिटी को मेंटेन करना होता है। Flexible billing, fine-grained metering or resource usage combined with on-demand service provisioning facilitate a number of options for charging customers. Fee can be revived on a subscription basis or could be tied to actual consumption or reservation of the resources. We do have the different cloud computing models जो billing के लिए वर्कआउट करते हैं। कुछ डिपेंड करते हैं मंथली बेसिस और ईयरली बेसिस, कुछ डिपेंड करते हैं ऑन एक्चुअल कंजम्पशन। तो डिफरेंट टाइप्स के बिलिंग मैकेनिज्म क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग में एग्जिस्ट करें। Virtualization, that's another core attributes of the cloud computing. Services are usually offered through an abstracted infrastructure. They leverage various virtualization mechanisms and achieve cost optimization through multi-tenancy. Multi-tenancy means multiple organizations are contributing towards the system. तो हमारे पास जितने रिसोर्सेज अवेलेबल होते हैं वो सारे के सारे विजुअलाइज होते हैं, एंड विजुअलाइजेशन के थ्रू क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग की जो स्केलेबिलिटी है वो इंक्रीज करती है। सर्विस डिलीवरी, functionality is available as service of some form. While there is great variance in nature of these services, typically the services offer programmatic interfaces in addition to the user interfaces. User concern, consumer concern is basically the quality of service, and cloud computing ensure करता है the quality of service must be well met. तो जो रिक्वायरमेंट्स होती हैं एंड यूजर्स की, क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग ने उन सर्विसेज को एज पर रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ द यूजर्स अवेलेबल करना होता है। एंड सर्विसेज किसी भी फॉर्म में हो सकती हैं, प्रोग्रामिंग इंटरफेसेस भी हो सकते हैं, एपीआईज भी हो सकती हैं। वी डू हैव वैरायटी ऑफ द सर्विसेज कुड बी अवेलेबल फ्रॉम द क्लाउड प्रोवाइडर्स। Universal access. Cloud aims to ensure pool resources are available to anyone authorized to utilize them. At the same time, location independence and high level of presence allows for an always connected user experience. We do have pooled resources. Pooled resources mean different organizations are contributing to resource factors. An authorized user could access them. And we do have the universal access. It means at the same time location independence है, a user could have access to the resources and could get the experience. Simplified management. Administration is simplified through automatic provisioning to meet the scalability requirement, user self-service to expedite business processes, and programmatically accessible resources that facilitate integration into enterprise management framework. It means cloud computing का administrative framework simple हो, जिसके थ्रू सारी की सारी सर्विसेज वेल वे से मैनेज की जा सकें, नई सर्विसेज एडअप की जा सकें। तो क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग का ओवरऑल इन्वायरमेंट मस्ट बी अ सिंपल बट सिक्योर इनफ। Affordable resources. The cost of resources is reduced No need for fixed purchases. Economy of scale as service provider can optimize cost with relation to demand. Economic cloud, there is another concept. Economic cloud also work in cost optimizations. एक यूजर है जिसकी डिमांड इंक्रीज कर रही है विद टाइम. A service provider could apply a different cost model on usage of those resources. So accordingly resources की रिक्वायरमेंट के लिहाज से डिफरेंट टाइप के कॉस्ट मॉडल अप्लाई होते हैं क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग इन्वायरमेंट में. और अकॉर्डिंगली जो सर्विस कंज्यूमर्स हैं डिपेंडिंग अपॉन कि उनका रिसोर्स का यूजेज क्या है, अकॉर्डिंगली वो कास्ट मॉडल में से वो सिलेक्ट करते हैं और सर्विसेज को यूज करते हैं फ्रॉम दी क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग एनवायरनमेंट. मल्टी टेनेंसी resources are used by many organizations. Multi-tenants and include mechanism to protect and isolate each tenant from all others. Pooling resources across customer is also an important factor in achieving scalability and cost saving. Multi-tenancies exist करती है कि हमारे पास इवन क्लाउड इन्वायरमेंट में जितनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कंट्रीब्यूट कर रही होती हैं, we do have multiple organizations from the multiple maybe countries, continent. Question is कि रिसोर्सेज जो पुल अप होते हैं वो भी मल्टी टेनेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से हो रहे होते हैं और जो रिसोर्सेज यूज हो रहे होते हैं वो भी डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो डिफरेंट वे से वर्कआउट कर रही होती हैं, डिफरेंट डोमेन्स में काम कर रही होती हैं. मे बी some companies working in banking network, maybe another one in educational setup, and third one maybe in stock exchange. तो हर एक ने रिसोर्सेज को यूज करना है एज पर देयर नीड्स. तो यहाँ पे प्रोटेक्शन, आइसोलेशन एंड सिक्योरिटी आर द कोर कंसर्न when we have the multi-tenancy from the service provider, when we have the multi-tenancy from the user end. Service level agreement. This is called SLA. The cloud environment is governed by service level agreement, which set out the expectation of the user and responsibilities of the service provider. ये agreement है which is signed between the cloud user and cloud service provider. क्लाउड सर्विस प्रोवाइडर ने कौन कौन सी सर्विसेज अवेलेबल करनी है, उसकी क्या क्या रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज हैं, क्या यूजर की डिमांड्स हैं, what cloud service provider is expecting from the user and what a user is expecting from the service provider. तो ये एक MOU साइन होता है between the user and the cloud service provider. Accordingly एक्ट होता है. If a service provider is not providing the services, जिस तरह रिटर्न थी एग्रीमेंट में जो डिमांड्स थी जिनके अगेंस्ट यूजर ने पेमेंट की है, अगर वो मीट नहीं होती तो सर्विस प्रोवाइडर को पेनल्टीज जो है इन्फोर्स की जाती हैं. एंड सिक्योरिटी इज वन ऑफ द हार्ट इशू इन प्रोविजन ऑफ द सर्विसेज फ्रॉम द सर्विस प्रोवाइडर टू द एंड यूजर्स. टाइप्स ऑफ क्लाउड कि एक क्लाउड कितनी टाइप्स में फर्दर क्लासिफाई हो रहा है. लेट्स डिस्कस द टाइप्स ऑफ क्लाउड वन बाय वन. फर्स्ट टाइप इज द पब्लिक क्लाउड. The infrastructure is made available to general public or large industry group and is owned by the organization selling cloud services. It means ये एक ऐसा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, ऐसी सर्विसेज हैं जो जनरल पब्लिक को, कम्युनिटी को अवेलेबल हैं, and these services are available publicly over the internet. Private cloud. The infrastructure is operated solely for an organization. कि एक ऐसा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग का विच इज फुली डेडिकेटेड फॉर एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन और ये प्राइवेट इन्वायरमेंट में वर्कआउट कर रही है. लेट्स सपोज वी डू हैव नागरा नेशनल डेटाबेस इन पाकिस्तान. It has its own private cloud which is working within its own local environment, and it has It is meeting the requirements of the government of Pakistan and it is providing the services to end users. Community cloud. The infrastructure is shared by several organizations and supports a community that has shared the concerns. एक ऐसा cloud computing का infrastructure which is available to several organizations, but those organizations supporting a community. Let's suppose कि हमारे पास multiple organization है, multiple hospitals हैं, they all sharing their information together for the same cause, and they're working under one community. So that cloud computing environment is called the community cloud, and it might work in public environment. Hybrid cloud, composition of two or more than two clouds. It could be public, private, or community cloud as a unique entities, but bound by the standardized technology that enables data and application portability. Hybrid cloud may be a private cloud, but it is using some of the services of the public cloud. तो ये information sharing कर रहा होता है between two or more than two clouds. As we have discussed three models, public, private, and hybrid model. In public cloud, we do have the Amazon, Google, service provider owned and managed, access by subscription. Private cloud, which are privately owned and managed, access limited to client and its partner networks. We do have mobiling, banking, network, and hybrid cloud. It is actually a private cloud, but it may use some of the services from the public cloud. That's why hybrid cloud could be the combination of multiple clouds, public, private, and community clouds. Overall, the objective of public, private, and hybrid clouds and community cloud are providing the services to the end user to meet the demands of the end users. Cloud delivery models. Cloud delivery model are basically divided into three categories: software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. Let's discuss these delivery model one by one. The layers of IT as a services, if we look in 3 tiers, the lowest one, infrastructure as a service. Then we have the platform as a service, and on top of it, we have software as a service. Software as a service. Software as a service is a category of the cloud computing services that provides an environment where the software application are provided to customer as a service. Software as a service main theme is to provide services to the end users. What type of services are being offered? Enterprise services such as workflow management, group aware, and collaborative supply chain communication, digital signature, customer relationship management, desktop software, financial management, geospatial and search, and many other applications. We do have large number of applications which could be provided to users for their use at their ends. Web 2.0 applications such as metadata management, social networking, blogs, wiki services, and portal services. And these all services are being included in software as a service. Applications are supplied by the service provider as the agreement is being signed. SLA is being signed between the provider and the consumer, and provider makes sure what type of the services which are required by the user and वो सारी services provider ने provide करनी है, and the user doesn't manage or control the underlying cloud infrastructure or individual application capabilities. A user has no control over the cloud computing infrastructure, and user is not responsible to manage what type of applications are running at back end. And Software as a service model is not suitable for real-time application or for those where data is not allowed to be hosted externally. वो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो अपना डाटा एक्सटर्नली थर्ड पार्टी के पास होस्ट नहीं करना चाहती एंड दे आर रनिंग रियल टाइम एप्लीकेशन मे बी ऑफ वेरी हाई रिस्क, तो वो अपनी एप्लीकेशंस को थर्ड पार्टी क्लाउड पे पब्लिक क्लाउड पे होस्ट नहीं करेंगे. दे वुड प्रेफर maybe some private cloud and they would run in their own local environments. अब सॉफ्टवेयर एंड सॉफ्टवेयर एज ए सर्विसेज में वी डू हैव द एग्जांपल गूगल डॉक्यूमेंट, फेसबुक, फ्लिकर, सेल्सफोर्स. दीज आर द क्लाउड सर्विसेज मॉडल जिसमें हम सॉफ्टवेयर को एज ए सर्विसेज ट्रीट करें. प्लेटफॉर्म एज ए सर्विस is a category of cloud computing services that provides a platform allowing customers to develop, run, and manage applications without the complexity of building and maintaining the infrastructure typically associated with developing and launching app. तो ये वो कैटेगरी है क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग की जो प्लेटफॉर्म प्रोवाइड कर रही है, जो अलो कर रही है यूजर्स को कि वो customers को, users को, they could develop their own application, they could run and manage their application without knowing the complexity, without knowing the what is going on at back end की infrastructure कहाँ से आया है, infrastructure की क्या complexity है. They could design and develop their application, they could run in such environments. Allows the cloud user to deploy consumer-created or acquired applications using programming language and tools supported by the service provider. Platform as service layer पे tools, technologies available हैं user end को. A user could come and could deploy his or her application. जितनी tools and technologies, middlewares जो कुछ available हैं वो प्लेटफॉर्म एज सर्विस लेवल पे अवेलेबल है. फॉर एग्जांपल हमारा ओरेकल का मिडलवेयर हो सकता है, जावा है, डॉटनेट फ्रेमवर्क है. वी डू हैव वैराइटीज ऑफ द प्लेटफॉर्म व्हिच आर बीइंग सपोर्टेड बाय डिफरेंट क्लाउड सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स. द यूजर in platform as a service, the user has control of the deployed application and possibly application hosting environment configuration. यूजर के पास कंट्रोल होता है कि वो डिप्लॉयड एप्लीकेशन पे वर्किंग कर सके एंड उसके रेलेवेंट एनवायरनमेंट कॉन्फ़िगरेशन पे भी वर्किंग कर ले. एंड डजंट मैनेज और कंट्रोल द अंडरलाइंग क्लाउड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इंक्लूडिंग नेटवर्क, सर्वर्स, ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम और स्टोरेज. यूजर के पास राइट्स नहीं होते कि वो मैनेज करे या कंट्रोल करे व्हाटएवर कंप्यूटिंग एलिमेंट, कंप्यूटिंग डिवाइसेस व्हिच आर अवेलेबल एट लोएस्ट लेवल. जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर लेवल पे जितनी रिसोर्सेज अवेलेबल हैं द यूजर को उस लेवल पे एक्सेस अवेलेबल नहीं होती. बट यूजर जो है वो अपनी एप्लीकेशन जो उसने डिप्लॉय की हैं प्लेटफॉर्म एज अ सर्विस लेवल पे और जितनी कॉन्फ़िगरेशन मैनेजमेंट है यूजर कुड प्ले हिज और हर रोल एट दैट लेवल. एंड प्लेटफॉर्म एज अ सर्विस आर नॉट पर्टिकुलरली यूजफुल व्हेन द एप्लीकेशन मस्ट बी पोर्टेबल. जब ये कंस्ट्रेंट आ जाए एप्लीकेशन पोर्टेबल हैं, the proprietary programming language are used and hardware and software must be customized to improve the performance of the application. जब ये constraints आ जाएं in such constraint platform as service is not particularly useful. And examples of the platform as services में हमारे पास clouds available हैं Windows, Azure, Adobe, Google App Engine, Anika. These are the famous platform as a services platforms. Infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service is a form of the cloud computing that provides virtualized computing resources over the internet. जो हमारा बैकबोन है क्लाउड का दैट इज बेसिकली द इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. हमारे जितने स्टोरेज, प्रोसेसिंग एलिमेंट्स, जितने सर्वर्स, नेटवर्क मीडिया लोएस्ट लेवल पे एग्जिस्ट कर रहा है इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर एज अ सर्विस इसको विजुअलाइज इन्वायरमेंट में ओवर द इंटरनेट प्रोवाइड करती है. and the user is able to deploy and run arbitrary software which could include OS and application. When user has the access at infrastructure level, it means user could deploy and could run any arbitrary software, and which could include different type of operating system, different type of application. The user doesn't manage or control the underlying cloud infrastructure, but has control over the OS, storage, deployed application, possibly limited control of some network component, host, firewall, etc. यूजर के पास ओवरऑल अंडरलाइन क्लाउड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की एक्सेस तो है, लेकिन ना उसको वो मैनेज कर सकता है ना कंट्रोल कर सकता है, बट हैज लिमिटेड एक्सेस फॉर operating system and storage deployed applications. Services offered by this delivery model include server hosting. It means we do have the limitation on infrastructure as service. एक user end पे क्या क्या limitation है. Server hosting capabilities हैं उसके पास, web servers की, storage की, computing hardware की, OS की, virtual instances different hardware के produce करने की, load balancing की, internet access की, and provision of the bandwidth. These services are provided by this delivery model. Amazon, EC2, S3, WhiteScale, and vCloud are the famous cloud which are providing services as infrastructure as a service. Relationship among the different cloud service models. Infrastructure as a service, as we have discussed, infrastructure as a service is responsible for provision of the resources which are available at the lowest level. How the infrastructure could be provided as a service, जिसमें हमारे पास जितने नेटवर्क डिवाइसेस हैं, स्टोरेज हैं, सर्वर्स हैं, जितने भी कंप्यूट एलिमेंट, प्रोसेसिंग एलिमेंट्स हैं, which are available at the lowest level, how that infrastructure could be provided as a service. On top of it, cloud infrastructure पे we do have platform as a service. प्लेटफॉर्म एज ए सर्विस प्रोवाइड करता है एनवायरमेंट कस्टमर्स को, यूजर्स को, हाउ दे कुड बी एबल to create the application, how they could use the different types of the middleware, different types of the software at the platform levels. And on top of it, we do have the software as a service. Software as a service means which is at the user end, which provide interaction to the end users, how they could work with the cloud computing environments. Cloud computing architectures. Cloud computing comprises of the two components. One is the front end and second one is the back end. Front end means that end from where a user is interacting with the system. And back end, which is working at back end, which is providing the services. Let's explain the front end and back end in detail. Front end consists client part of the cloud computing. It comprises of the interface and application which are required to users to access the cloud computing platforms. It means ये user end है जिसके through a user could interact with the system. फ्रंट एंड में डिफरेंट इंटरफेसेस होंगी, एप्लीकेशन होंगी जिनके थ्रू यूजर हैव एक्सेस टू द सिस्टम, क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग प्लेटफॉर्म्स. While backend refers to the cloud itself, it comprises of the resources which are required for the cloud computing services. It means at backend we do have infrastructure as a storage. We do have the platforms. It consists of several virtual machines, servers, data storage, and we do have the different security mechanisms which have been implemented on all type of resources which are available at backend, and it is under provider control. We do have one service provider or may have multiple service providers, and all those providers are working together under one administrative unit for provision of services to the end users. Cloud computing is a strong distributed computing environment. Cloud computing, in a very simple case, distribute the file system that spreads over multiple hard disks, multiple storage media and machines, which may be located within an organization or multiple locations or in multiple places across the world. Data is never stored in one place. Only in a case one unit fails, the other will take over automatically. It means the system possesses the capabilities of fault tolerance. If failure occurs at one side, the system must have the capability to restore from the failure and keep on executions. The good about the cloud computing. Resources such as CPU cycles, storage, network bandwidth are shared. In cloud computing, multi-tenant, multiple organizations are contributing. We do have the resources which become available from the different organizations, and these resources are pooled together and the same resources are shared. When we do have the multiple application and multiple applications share a system, their peak demand for resources are not synchronized, thus multiplexing lead to high resource utilization. As resources in cloud computing are shared and resources are aggregated, such aggregated resources help to support data intensive application. जितनी heavy application होगी, by aggregation of the computing resources, we become able to execute. Cloud computing provides the environment for data sharing. Data sharing facilitates collaborative activities. Many applications require multiple types of analysis of shared data sets, and multiple decisions could be carried out by the groups scattered around the globe. Let's suppose हमारे पास different research groups work कर रहे हैं across the world, and they are working on analysis of the coronavirus. They could share the data set and they could make some decision making and they could come up with some results. AI को यूज करते हुए और डाटा माइनिंग की टेक्निक को यूज करते हुए जो शेयर डाटा सेट्स है which could become available from the different countries, they could do different types of the analysis. Eliminates the initial investment cost for computing infrastructure and maintenance and operational cost. Organization को help out करते हैं कि they could just rent out the computing infrastructure from the Amazon and different services. They could host their services on those infrastructure. तो उनका जो overall जो infrastructure cost है, maintenance and operation cost है, वो eliminate हो जाते हैं, minimize हो जाते हैं. Cost reduction. Concentration of the resources creates the opportunity to pay as you go for the computing. We do have the different types of the cloud computing eco model, economical models, costing models हैं, Google के, Amazon के different जो cloud service providers हैं, and a person or organization could come and could use those resources, could pay and live. Elasticity. The ability to accommodate workload with very large peak to average ratios. जिस तरह हमने elasticity को discuss किया, in cloud computing environment the resources which are joining the cloud computing environment are increasing and decreasing. In the same way, the users की जो demands हैं could vary over time. अभी कुछ कंप्यूटिंग रिसोर्सेज की डिमांड कर रहा है, मे बी नेक्स्ट टाइम इंटरवल में जो जॉब्स हैं, वर्कलोड्स हैं, वो इंक्रीज कर जाएं. तो क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग में एबिलिटीज होनी चाहिए कि वो अकोमोडेट कर सकें जॉब्स डिमांड, जो यूजर्स की डिमांड्स हैं विद रिस्पेक्ट टू टाइम, इन ऑर्डर टू कीप द फैसिलिटेशन टू द यूजर्स. यूजर अपनी मैक्सिमम जॉब्स को एग्जीक्यूट कर सके. User convenience. Virtualization allows users to operate in a familiar environment rather than an individual ones. Easy and convenient environments होनी चाहिए, virtualized environment होनी चाहिए, and cloud computing could allow the different users to operate in cloud computing environments. Why cloud computing could be successful when other paradigms have failed? It is in a better position to exploit recent advances in software, networking, storage, and processor technology promoted by the same companies who provide cloud sources. It is focused on enterprise computing. Its adoption by industrial organizations, financial institutions, government and so on could have a huge impact on the economy. जितनी सॉफ्टवेयर की एडवांसमेंट है, नेटवर्क, स्टोरेज मीडिया की, कंप्यूटिंग एलिमेंट आई मीन प्रोसेसर्स की, they all providing the cloud services. If some organization is using the cloud services, let's suppose by Amazon or some other cloud service providers, तो उन लेटेस्ट टूल्स एंड टेक्नोलॉजीज को वो यूज कर सकते हैं बाय प्रोविजन ऑफ द क्लाउड सर्विसेज फ्रॉम द क्लाउड सर्विस प्रोवाइडर. एंड क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग इज फोकस आल्सो ऑन इंटरप्राइज कंप्यूटिंग. जितनी इंडस्ट्रियल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हैं, एजुकेशनल सेटअप हैं, फाइनेंशियल सेटअप्स हैं, गवर्नमेंट्स हैं, दे आर रिलाइंग on cloud computing adoptions. Basically, cloud computing की adoption at national level, in government sector, in public and private setups, countries को help out कर रही हैं. A cloud consists of virtualized set of hardware and software resources. यहाँ पे जितने hardware and software resources हैं, all have been provided as virtualized resources. The resources are in a single administrative domain. Security, resource management, fault tolerance, quality of services are less challenging than in heterogeneous environment with resources in multiple administrative domains. Cloud computing as a single administrative domain operate हो रहा है, तो यहाँ पे जो security के, resource management के, how to make efficient and effective utilization of resources which are available in cloud. Fault tolerance means how to manage the different types of the failure which could occur within the cloud computing environment, and quality of service. What are the needs of the customer and users in terms of the response time from the cloud service provider, in terms of the services execution, in terms of provision of different type of the services in different contexts as per service level agreement, सब अवेलेबल हों यूजर एंड्स पे, और फॉल्ट टॉलरेंस एग्जिस्ट कर रही हो, सिक्योरिटी सिस्टम में एग्जिस्ट कर रही हो, रिसोर्स मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम में एग्जिस्ट कर रही हो. और ये जितने चैलेंजेस हैं क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग इन्वायरमेंट में आर कंपैरेटिवली लेस चैलेंजिंग देन a truly heterogeneous distributed environment which is managed by multiple organizations. CERN Cloud. Let's discuss CERN Cloud as an example of the cloud computing environment. CERN stands for Center for European Nuclear Research, and we will discuss NCP Cloud. NCP Cloud node is basically the component of the CERN Cloud. which is working in collaboration with CERN. LHC Data Challenge. LHC stands for Liquid Hydrocarbon Collider. Data challenge is once the accelerator is completed, it will run for 10 to 15 years. Experiment will produce about 15 million gigabytes of data each year. And LHC data analysis requires a computing power which is equivalent to 100,000 of today's fastest PC processors. Requires many cooperating computing centers as CERN could provide only 20% of its capacity. CERN is being operated from Switzerland. It is running an experiment which is generated a huge amount of the data. It requires high computing power for job execution, for workload execution, and it needs large scale computing infrastructure for data storage as well. And now how the CERN works, and CERN has established its cloud in order to meet such type of experiment. These are basically the physics experiment. As being the computer scientists, we will discuss the computational part of this cloud. CERN is running LHC computing project. This project is being executed on computational cloud, which is working in 3 tiers. Tier 0 is working at Switzerland, Geneva. Tier 1 is running in 11 countries. Tier 2 is working in more than 100 countries. Right now, more than 140 computing centers are contributing in order to meet the requirements of LHC computing projects. Tier 0 at CERN, basically CERN is running 4 projects: LS, Atlas, CMS and LSA. Pakistan is also contributing towards these projects. NCP Cloud Node of CERN Cloud. NCP stands for National Center for Physics. This one is the government institute, and Pakistan is associate member of the CERN. NCP is running its cloud node as a tier 2 site of the CERN cloud. And NCP is running its cloud node using the PaaS connectivity which is being provided by Higher Education Commission Pakistan. It's working, I think, on 1 gig bandwidth for its live communication with the CERN cloud. NCP is maintaining a large computing infrastructure. NCP has hosted a WLCG Tier 2 site which consists of 524 CPU cores and 400 terabyte of disk storage. This site is fully dedicated for the CERN project. It works lively with the CERN. As I discussed, this is using the PaaS connectivity, and it has live communication at all the time 24/7 with the CERN cloud. NCP is also providing an HPC cluster for the local scientific community. Anybody could have access to it. First of all, we need to communicate with NCP to get user ID and password. Then we could execute our jobs on this HPC machine. HPC research area, basically number of the universities and different public and private sector organizations are working in different areas. They have collaborated with National Center for Physics and they're working in different areas. Some of them are highlighted as given on screen. Computation fluid dynamics, molecular biology, biochemistry, physics, weather forecasting, DTF, density functional theory, ion channeling, multi-particle interaction, NUST, guidance universities, and many other universities are collaborating with CERN for their research purposes. And guidance universities and NUST, ComSat, they are also collecting the data of the CERN for their research purposes. Cloud deployment at NCP. WLCG Tier 2 site, which is working at CERN, which is working in collaboration with the CERN. Basically, they were using traditional grid computing model. As per requirement from the CERN, now they have migrated from the grid model to the cloud model, and they are using the OpenStack for the development, for the establishment of the private cloud. Initially देखें, on left hand side we have traditional computing model, on right side we have migration to the cloud computing model. Right now NCP using the OpenStack. This is an open source cloud computing platform and they have installed it. And CERN is also using the OpenStack for the cloud computing environment. HPC cluster, which is working at NCP. You could see some of the statistics for your learning. First one on top, on left hand side, cluster load last month. Right side, memory. Then CPU last month, how much it has been utilized, and network last month. It means जो resources हैं अगर हम analyze करें तो जो क्लस्टर का लोड है, मेमोरी की जो यूटिलाइजेशन है, सीपीयू की यूटिलाइजेशन है, नेटवर्क की जो यूटिलाइजेशन है, हर एक को यहाँ पे शो किया हुआ है. Some of the statistics which have been collected from the NCP are represented in this slide. Total CPU hours by resource, top 10 resource utilization, total CPU hours by each job, job sizes per job, and different types of user. Every user is utilizing how much the CPUs are. तो ये सारी स्टैटिस्टिक्स मैंने HPC क्लस्टर से कलेक्ट की, NCP से, और यहाँ पे रिप्रेजेंट किया in order to just to give you the idea कि जितने कंप्यूटिंग एलिमेंट्स हैं, जितनी वर्कलोड्स हैं, जितने नंबर ऑफ यूजर्स हैं, इवन नंबर ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो क्लाउड में पार्टिसिपेट कर रही होती हैं, हर साइट कितना कंट्रीब्यूट कर रही होती है इन टर्म्स ऑफ द रिसोर्सेज. यहाँ पे तो सिर्फ CPU आवर्स को शो किया हुआ है, इवन मेमोरी आवर्स को भी शो किया जा सकता है, नेटवर्क, कम्युनिकेशन, बैंडविड्थ, सारे रिसोर्सेज जो कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हैं हर साइट लेवल पे, हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन लेवल पे, उनकी रिप्रेजेंटेशन क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग एनवायरनमेंट में की जा सकती है. वर्ल्ड वाइड क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग एडॉप्शन. वर्ल्ड वाइड क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग एडॉप्शन में इफ वी लुक एट द डिफरेंट कंट्रीज, तो हर कंट्री ने कोई ना कोई स्ट्रैटेजी बनाई इन ऑर्डर टू अडॉप्ट द क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग at government level, how the cloud computing could be adopted in public and private setups. Japan ने invest की a large amount on the cloud computing adoption. Smart cloud strategy they proposed in May 2010. Europe ने cloud computing adoption Horizon 2020 में propose की. Horizon 2020 is basically the project which was launched by the Europe और objective था European digitization का. And US ने they have invested a lot of amount. Or Microsoft is also helping US government to establish public-private model for the adoption of the cloud in यूएस, ऑस्ट्रेलिया ने भी अपनी क्लाउड अडॉप्शन स्ट्रेटजीज प्रपोज की, which working in 3 streams which have been highlighted on screen. Brazil Internet Bill of Gates, उनने भी अपनी स्ट्रेटजी प्रपोज की and they have invested a lot of amount. Asia Cloud Computing Association and Asia Cloud Readiness Index. A number of these strategies have been proposed in different countries. Everyday leaders such as Japan, New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong, and South Korea, and the dedicated improvers such as Taiwan, Malaysia, China, and Philippines. The steady development countries including China, Indonesia, India, and Vietnam, they are all contributing to Asian, Asia Pacific Cloud Computing Associations. अफ्रीका ने भी क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग अडॉप्शन की स्ट्रेटजीज प्रपोज की एंड दे वुड लाइक टू मूव 50% ऑफ द आईसीटी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन टू क्लाउड. स्पेसिफिक डाटा सेंटर इन तंजानिया रवांडा में इस्टेब्लिश किए जाएं. हर कंट्री ने डिफरेंट टाइम्स पे क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग स्ट्रेटजीज प्रपोज की, अडॉप्ट की, पब्लिक एंड प्राइवेट मॉडल्स डिजाइन एंड डेवलप किए. Pakistan. The Planning Commission of Pakistan has approved the establishment of National Center for Cybersecurity, Big Data and Cloud Computing, and Robotics and Automation. Pakistan government established the 3 national centers. National Center of Cybersecurity at University Islamabad, National Center of Big Data and Cloud Computing at Lans, and National Center of Robotics and Automation at the Nurse College of Electrical and Mechanical Engineering, Rawalpindi. पाकिस्तान ने स्टेप लिया टुवर्ड द क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग इन ऑर्डर टू एस्टैब्लिश द नेशनल सेंटर इन 2018. Now, different universities are collaborating with these centers. They are establishing their labs in the development of Pakistan. If we look the different applications which are working in Pakistan, like Nadra system, passport system, e-health system, traffic system, criminal identification system, car parking system, cloud computing could play a very vital role. In Nadra system, like Nadra system क्या है हमारा national database है which is working across the Pakistan. हमारी डिफरेंट प्रोविंसेस पे, डिफरेंट डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे, तहसील लेवल पे we do have the different we do have the application which are in executions. So Nadra system level पे private cloud could be deployed. Passport system में, e-health system में like we could design and develop the national e-health cloud system जिसके थ्रू PIMS, Pakistan Institute of Medical Sciences, Al-Shifa Internationals, New Hospital Lahore, and many other hospitals could coordinate with each other and they could share the informations. Traffic systems में implementations हो सकती है, criminal की identifications में cloud computing की applications हो सकती हैं. car parking system, let's suppose एक person move कर रहा है एक specific area में इस्लामाबाद and want to reserve the कार पार्किंग स्लॉट, तो वो क्लाउड बेस्ड एप्लीकेशन के थ्रू एनालाइज कर सकता है कि कौन कौन सी स्लॉट्स अवेलेबल हैं एंड अकॉर्डिंगली could make request for the reservations. And we do have a lot of applications of the cloud computing in Pakistani IT industry in different areas of the public and private sector organizations. Information and knowledge are growing exponentially. People need high computing power and HPC will get more and more application and be next generation computing. And cloud is the future of the computing. And cloud has a lot of application in our public and private sectors. Thank you very much. Stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.